Hello YouTube wheelers, and welcome to a new episode where I get to actually speak to you about a new chapter, how to learn jumping on inline skates. First things first, if you want to learn how to jump, you'll need to basically have some preparation beforehand. So once you found a patch of grass, I would actually advise that you first warm up, and after that you can position yourself keeping your legs a bit apart from each other, not too much though, as you can see in the clip, and you will be able to first of all bend down and then rise back up. Yeah, this will basically get you used to the motion of being able to absorb the impact, yeah, because this will be very important in the long run. Yeah, initially of course you won't be dealing with that big of a jump, so basically what I'm teaching you today is more to be able to conquer going down a curb or perhaps climbing a curb, yeah, while jumping. So basically you'll be able to have a much more fluid flow after practicing this technique for long enough. Now once you've actually finished practicing these bending down and rising back up, I would actually advise you to start jumping. Now you don't need to jump that high, yeah, probably just to get yourself off the ground, so 5-10 centimeters, but just when you get off the ground, practicing this bending down motion. Yeah, don't exaggerate it necessarily, but try to act as a spring. Yeah, just like a spring with the bend. If it were pushed against something, try to actually practice bending when coming back to the ground. Yeah, because this will help you a lot, especially if you're a skater that started at a later age. You will thank me for this advice. So don't jump like a plank. Yeah, don't jump up and then just keep your legs straight when coming back down. Now once you've mastered this technique, I would actually find a very flat ground, yeah, something like this perhaps. So something very flat that you can actually use as a very open space in which there's nothing you could actually encounter, yeah, either cars or any other rough surfaces, yeah, that might hinder your progress. Now before you actually go about jumping curbs, I would actually take a piece of chalk or a very small object and just use that as a point of reference. Yeah, you could even do something like use the markings, yeah, so markings, for example, like this one, yeah, or just any sort of paint that may be on the street. That is a very good way of having your first obstacle, yeah, because even if you miss the jump, nothing will happen, yeah, because you won't actually be worried about hitting that obstacle. Yeah, so try to find maybe a sprayed area and proceed with doing the same motion that you did on the grass. Also, you can consider avoiding places where there's a lot of cars. Yeah, you can get comfortable by jumping over imaginary obstacles, yeah, such as this painted line, for example, that marks bicycle lanes. And you could actually try focusing on keeping low when jumping, yeah, especially after you jump. This will actually absorb the shock, and if you also combine this with your knees being over your toe area for balance, as well as leaning a bit forward. Yeah, so basically turning yourself into a spring, you will see that this will help a lot to continue your flow and help you in your urban skating. You can also imagine yourself like dancing with a Smurf. After you've actually practiced and succeeded in jumping basically an invisible obstacle, yeah, like a line or something, you can move on to actually practice with a real obstacle, yeah, like a stick. Now that you've mastered basically jumping a small obstacle, yeah, and remember you can use anything, yeah, from a small cone, from slalom, or anything that you find that isn't particularly troublesome. But once you've done this, you need to remember that jumping high, yeah, is not everything. So even though that showed that I jumped higher, doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to clear the obstacle. Yeah, so this is why speed is also important. The more speed you have, the farther the distance that you'll be able to cover. And I almost forgot, don't actually try to do this for the first time without wearing a helmet or the right protection. Yeah, so basically don't look like us. Yeah, we are not doing this the right way, but then again we're not doing any sort of hardcore tricks. So remember guys, that just proves how speed is directly proportional with the height, yeah, that you're reaching when you jump. So the bigger the speed you have, the more distance you will be able to cover. So I hope you really enjoyed this clip, and until next time, be safe
and skate safe.
Woo! Bye.